we can see that we have a moving average here. And the red arrows are noting that there's no signal here. Right? The green arrow is noting that this is a situation where a signal would be generated here. So what's the difference here? Well, what the main requirement here is that these Renko bars need to be at least 11 ticks or more before a signal can occur. So my guess, I don't know exactly what bar types these are, but my guess is that the body of this Renko bar is probably 10 ticks in length, right? So if there's no wick, really the real rule is that the length of the bar needs to be 11 ticks. So regardless of whether the body is 10 ticks or 9 ticks or maybe 8 ticks, right? The length of the bar, from the close all the way to the end of the wick, we need a minimum of 11 ticks. And then also we have a second rule here: no signals on bars longer than 17 ticks. So we can put that in. However, keep in mind though that as soon as price crosses this moving average, it's going to generate a signal, because the bar is not going to be, the bar may not be 17 ticks in length at that point. So the one thing that we don't know is that maybe this moving average moves further than 17 ticks away. So in that case, if this EMA is too far away, a signal won't be generated, right? So that's the two kind of key conditions here, right? Is that we need a bar that's at least 11 ticks, or probably more accurately, in between 11 ticks to 17 ticks, as noted right here in the rules here. So, and the goal, or not goal, but another requirement of this system is that it generates a signal in real time, during a live intrabar entry, right? So as soon as price crosses that EMA, a signal will be generated. All right, so pretty straightforward and simple enough. So to do this, I'm going to take a shortcut here. And normally I'll use the Renko because it's a free bar, but just to save me some time here, I'm going to take a shortcut here and just use the Pro Renko. So it'll save me some time. For as long as I've been using the Renko, it still takes me a while to kind of get the settings right for the Renko. Yeah, well, with the Pro Renko, I can't get a reversal size of exactly 20 ticks there, but let's see. Instead of the Pro Renko, let's use the backtest Renko. There we go. We'll just set the reversal size right there. And the brick size, let's set that to 10. And I'm going to make sure that backtest mode is off. And that should do it. Perfect. All right, so we got the Renko bar set up. The lessons learned, in these workshops really aren't about getting, your moving averages set up correctly. Again, these workshops are about learning how to use BloodHound, and of course, you guys can, on your own time, figure out exactly what moving average settings to use, and just easily make those adjustments in your BloodHound templates. So, and let's see, the next step, is to find a couple of spots where it looks like a signal should be generated. So it looks like we should get one there. And it looks like we should get one there. And a bunch more here. There. All right, plenty of opportunities to generate some signals there. Let's see, are these all long signals? Yeah, okay. Here is a short signal. All right, that looks like that should be a short signal. All right, so let's see. As you guys can see, I have BloodHound on my chart already down here, down below. So I'm going to use the button up top to open up BloodHound. And the first thing you always want to do is put a file name in there. So I'm just going to hit the change button. And I will put in today's date for today's workshop. All right, we'll save that there. And I'm going to start working on the logic board here. Let's create a new logic template. And let's see here. All right, so there we go. Some kind of a name for this idea. And yeah, you know what? One of the other rules that I kind of quickly glossed over. Let's see here. So we need at least one bar, in the same direction as the entries, right? So basically, that's at least going to be the reversal bar here, right? So, so obviously, yeah. So we need the at least one bar in the same direction as the signal. So let's see. Let's take a look at this, right? So we have at least one down bar, and then the signal can be generated. So so let's say if this turns into a reversal bar, and then when it closes, we can then get long signals. All right, so that's going to be really simple to make sure that there's at least one bar in our direction, and we're just going to use the bar direction for this. All right, if I connect that in, and I used the bar length, sorry. I'll set this aside. So we are going to use the bar length, but not right yet. We'll get to that in just a moment here. I wanted the bar direction. There we go. Let's connect that in. Now, what we need, right, is we need to look at the bar direction of the closed bar, not the live bar, right? And hopefully, you guys notice that there is no signal right now, right? On the bar that's building, there is no signal, right? So that should tell you that BloodHound is not set to the correct calculation mode to generate signals in real time, right? So with NinjaTrader, if you want signals to be generated in real time, then what we need to do, like for example, right, this EMA, right, we don't see it operating on the live bar that's building. So in order to get the EMA, the plot on the live bar, right, we need to change the calculate mode. So all we really need is just on price changed. So we don't need on each tick for this idea. And the other one, let's go to BloodHound. And we're going to do the same thing for BloodHound. BloodHound needs to be set to on price change. There we go. Okay, now we can see here, right, that we're getting a signal from the bar that's building in real time, right? So, all right, so back to the bar direction here. Now, we need the long signal from, let me grab a little dot. Oop, no, grab the wrong one. Let me grab a dot. There we go. So we need the long signal from the previous bar, right, the bar that closed. So to do that with the bar direction solver, we're going to use the start bar as a go, and we're just going to set that to 1. Right, and now we can see everything has been shifted forward 1 bar, right? So on this reversal up bar, right, we're getting a short signal here, and that's coming from this previous down bar, right? So we've taken this up bar, this closed up bar, and shifted it onto the live bar, right? Or in other words, this would be the possible signal bar. All right. So, so that's identifying one bar back, and the next part is now we can start using these bar lengths, solvers here. So let's see here. For the bar length, let's make one that's at least 11 ticks. Right, so we need a minimum of 11 ticks. And we're going to take the range, and instead of an ATR range, we're going to change the measurement unit here and change it to ticks. And then go down here, change this one to ticks as well. Right there. And we're going to set both the max and the min to 11 ticks. And now the output here, let's open this up a little bit. So if you notice, it says, right, the output's here at or above 11 ticks. Well, actually it says 1 tick here. So, sometimes if the number of ticks is incorrect, just click off and then click back on the solver. And some computers need to be refreshed like that. Most computers, you'll see the numbers that are updated in real time. So now it reads correctly at or above 11 ticks, right? So actually, let's do, this is 11 tick minimum, right? 11 tick minimum there. So we're looking for these bars that are at least 11 ticks or more. So now we just need another one of these here. Let's grab another bar length. And well, actually, hold on. Let's take a look at this one here first. And of course, all these reversal bars are going to be at least 11 ticks. And obviously we can see that, any bar here that has a little bit of a wick is going to be at least 11 ticks here. Let's see here. Well, sometimes, yeah. So we can see on this backtest Renko here, this. Let's see. Yeah. So we can see that this is not quite 11 ticks, even though it's got a little bit of a tail, right? So the body is a little less than 10 ticks here. But again, the body length wasn't mentioned, as a part of this system here. So, the key requirement is that the total length of the bar be at least 11 ticks. All right, so there we go. So we have 11 tick minimum. So let's set up this other one, this other bar length solver here. And we'll make this 17 ticks max there. All right, and so we're just basically going to do what we did before, change the measurement unit, and then we want a maximum of 17 ticks. Right. There, I should shrink that. And so for the output, we want at or below 17 ticks. So we're going to set that output to 1. And the at or above output, we're going to set that to 0, right? There. Okay, so now if we look at this, let's see here. Obviously, these reversal bars are greater than 17 ticks. And, oh, here we go. Actually, so we marked one here that was greater than 17 ticks. And we can tell, right, because there's no output on that bar, right? We can see there's no racing stripe on that. And if we look at BloodHound's output, right, there's no output there. All right, so just for good measure, let's mark this as invalid there. And looks like actually we have a couple more here. And we'll just mark that last one there for good measure. Okay, so we got, we've got these bars that are a little too long. We have them marked here with a triangle. Let's see if we have some others. Yeah, we got a few others, but we'll just skip those for now. All right, here's a good spot to work. So, right, we have a bunch of bars here with wicks, and so we can just circle these. This will be our new work area here. There. All right. And let's see. We need one more thing here, and to understand this, let me grab another bar direction. And let's see. Actually, no. You know what? I don't think I need this. I don't think I'll need this second bar direction here. Let me get rid of that. So I'm going to go over to the solvers tab and make sure I delete that extra solver here. So just remember that just because you delete it off the board does not delete it permanently. Right? The solver still exists on the solvers tab here. Right? So I do need to remove it from the solvers tab to completely remove it. So, and removing unused solvers helps your system, or helps your NinjaTrader to run faster, right? Because BloodHound will be doing less calculations. So it's a bad idea to leave a whole bunch of unused solvers on your solvers tab, right? So if you're just kind of experimenting and playing around and you're like, I don't need that, and you delete it, just be aware to keep the solvers tab cleaned up. Remove those unused solvers, and that will help BloodHound and NinjaTrader just run faster. Let's see here. So I don't think I need that secondary bar direction. And actually, let's give this a name here. Yeah, so this is actually a 1 bar back direction. So we're looking at 1 bar back. So there we go. We'll rename that. So the last thing that we do need is, we need to identify when price, right, crosses this EMA. Right? So to do that, we're going to use the comparison solver, right? So we're going to, if we look here, right, we're either going to compare the low of the bar to the moving average, or let's find a good example here. Actually, let's go back to my little work area. Let's see. Where was it? There we go. Right here. Right. So we're either going to compare the high of the bar to the moving average, or we're going to compare the low of the bar to the moving average. Right. And that's how we know when price has crossed that moving average. So let's see here. This will be, so for a long signal, we're going to use the low price. And for a short signal, we're going to use the high of the bar. And we're going to compare that to the EMA 28. Okay. So for input A, that will be price. And so we already figured out that for a long signal, right, for long signals, we're using the low of the bar. So let's grab the low price. And for a short signal, we're using the opposite. So let's grab the high price. And then input B, that will be the EMA 28. Sorry, EMA 28. And, all right, there it is. There. Now we need to check our outputs here. So for a long signal, right, we know we want the low price to be less than the moving average, right? So in other words, we want A to be less than B, right? And so this is A less than B down here. So we're going to reverse these outputs like this. There we go. So we reversed all these outputs here. Yeah, so if we kind of look at all these up bars here, if we analyze what we're seeing, right, like right there, right? So what's the low of these bars? Well, you know, some of these bars don't have wicks, so the open and the low are the same price, right? So whenever whenever this moving average is inside the body, right, we're going to get a long output here. Or of course, if there's a wick, you know, that penetrates through the moving average, we're going to get a long output. So we can tell even these bars with no wicks here, you know, the open price is slightly less than the moving average, so we're getting a long output, right? And then as soon as our moving average moves below the open price, right, then there's no long output anymore. So, well, actually, this bar here, yeah, actually, it looks like the moving average is below the open, but it has a wick down here, so we got another long output. And that's what we're looking for. And, of course, the short output, right, if we look at all these short outputs, you know, why is there a short output? Well, remember, if we look at our outputs, if A is greater than B, so what's A? A is the high price, right? A is the high price. So, of course, right, the high of these bars is always above the moving average, right? So we're always going to get a short output when the bars are facing up, right, when they're up bars. And if they're down bars, then we're always going to get a long output, right? But, you know, that's okay, because remember, we have these other solvers here. You know, when they're doing their duty, they're going to basically clean, you know, they're going to clean this one solver up. So once we combine everything together with a AND node, so let's connect that in there. And once we connect in our bar length, you know, restrictions here, right, there we go. So we now are starting to get some signals, and we'll just connect that last one up, and there we go. So let's watch this in real time here and see if we get, there we go, another opportunity. Bingo, right there, right? So price just broke that, and there we go, it reversed. So we got that reversal bar, and the signal disappeared on us. And there we go. So here's price. It just went long enough to generate a signal. Here we go. Price just went long enough to generate a signal. And yeah, wow, the markets are really, really volatile today. Yeah, they're screaming higher. I can see, you know, you may not be able to see this because of the video delay, but I can see that these bars are just gapping down. You know, price is just gapping up and gapping down. Yeah, it's really, price is really moving quick. But anyways, that is it. It's really just that simple there, right? So again, just to kind of summarize everything, right? Our bar direction solver, right? It's looking back one bar, make sure that, you know, the previous bar was either an up bar or down bar. And then we have two bar length solvers, right? So one bar length solver is looking for a minimum length of 11 ticks. The other bar length solver is looking for a maximum length of 17 ticks. And then the other solver is just waiting for you know, the high price or the low price to break the moving average, just like it did right there. Let's see. Randall also wants to include, so when the EMA is inside the bar body, block BloodHound signals as well. Okay, sure. Yeah, we can add that as a secondary condition here. So I guess, yeah, if the length of your body is 11 ticks or more, then yeah, maybe it's a problem. But because of this minimum 11 tick here, as long as as long as the body of the Renko bar is 11 ticks or smaller, obviously there won't be a problem. But if you are using a Renko bar that is 12 ticks in length, yeah, then that might generate some. I don't want to say incorrect, but yeah, that if you do have a Renko bar that has a body that's 12 ticks in length, then that definitely will generate some signals here on situations like this. Yeah, so we can do that, and we can make sure. Let's see here. We just need a comparison solver, and let's see. Well, it depends. Yeah, it's going to depend on your Renko bar here. So we can see that with the backtest Renko, the open of the bar is not fixed yet, right? It's not actually fixed in place. Because this is a backtestable Renko bar, let me grab an arrow. Yeah, we can see that the open, well, all right, hopefully price will slow down a little bit. Come on, slow down. Yeah, we can see the open is actually right there. So this would not work with the backtest Renko because the open is right there. To do that, just to show you guys how to do that, let's connect that up here. And let's see here. All right, so we're comparing the open to the EMA 28. So input A will be price again, and we're going to set these to the open price. And our input B, that'll be our EMA 28 again. And where is it? There we go. There's the EMA 28 period. And so now, let's see. All right, so what are we looking for? So for a long signal, we need, let me stop this here. So for a long signal, we need B to be less than input A, or input A needs to be greater than B, right? So yeah, so for a long signal, we need the open to be above or greater than our EMA, which is B. So we need A greater than B. Yeah, so there we go. We can just leave our outputs the way they are and just connect that up, right, like so. Yeah, and that'll do it, right? That'll take care of it there. So, and let's see. I'm not getting a signal. Let me see here. Yeah, I'm just making sure I set everything up correctly. All right, we'll just have to wait, and there we go. Bingo. All right, yeah, so it was working. Okay, there we go. I guess kind of a workaround, to this problem with the backtest Renko is what we could do is take a look at the closed bar, right? We could look back one bar and check, whether the bar that had closed, if the open was below the moving average, right? Or if the open was above the moving average, right? We could check one bar back. We could check, right, the closed bar back. So if you wanted to do that, to check one bar back, then simply for input B, all right, for the EMA, we just set a displacement of 1, and then For input A, for our prices, we just use a look back period of 2, right? 2, and we're just looking at the single value of one bar back, right? And so that, with that quick little adjustment there, that will look at the previous bar to see. Now, obviously looking at the previous bar, we may have introduced an issue here. Well, let's see if I can find an example. Well, yeah, this kind of gets us close to the issue that might have been introduced, right? Which is obviously like right there, this reversal bar. Yeah, we can see that the moving average is inside the body. However, on this bar, right, it's hard to tell, but this bar could have been okay, right? Where the open price could have actually been slightly below the EMA on this bar. So if price actually did make a pullback, let's say if price did actually generate a wick here, that signal would have been lost or blocked. That signal would have been blocked because of the reversal bar, right? So, so we can see that in very, particular situations, you might lose one signal. So, and then we can see that definitely, well, I shouldn't say definitely, it's so hard to tell if the open was below, but, maybe even the open, maybe even the EMA is inside the body here by just a fraction, right? And so, again, with that, in that particular case, we would have lost a signal here. So if price made a pullback here, this could have been a valid pullback, but that signal would have been prevented because of a situation like this. So that is possible. We might lose a couple of signals, if you do look back to the previous bar with this solver here, right? So I will just put this back to normal there. So return the displacement to 0 and the look back period to 1.